absolute insanity for like a return that doesn't make sense. Game development was the most fun but horrid thing I've ever done. I did it solo, and that's probably part of my problem, right? But one of the biggest things was constantly struggling, and I felt like I had to be good at everything just to make some sort of product. Now, I moved on to web development after quitting game development around probably like 2 years ago. Right, I released an indie game called Everplast, and I was 16 at the time. For what I was doing, I was still very young and I was inexperienced. One of the things that game development taught me was how to persevere. When I ran into problems, I had to solve them, or else my game was gonna suck, right? And some of those problems were very tedious and difficult, and were some of the most frustrating problems I ever had to deal with. I remember having to write some really hacky code to deal with the physics engine and the game engine I was using, Godot. And I will say so many things about Godot Engine. It is a very nice, clean, quick game engine compared to Unity, where I had to deal with tons of bloat and loading. And overall, I didn't have a great time with Unity. Unreal Engine was a similar experience. I could make some of the cool graphical things in Unreal Engine, but I'd have to sit there for probably 20 minutes waiting for shaders to compile. Like every time I made a change, okay? It was ridiculous. And that's just one of the things about game development, is it's ridiculous. And you do all this work, and what you get in return is not worth it, okay? So, when you do things right, when you make a game right, you advertise it right, you work with the team, and you get it done correctly, you will have good results. But as a single developer, I was extremely disappointed when I released my game, and nobody knew about it. And I didn't have any product management skills or marketing, so I didn't understand this back then, right? I was 16 years old. I was releasing a game. All I wanted to do was code, so I moved on to web development. And just after a couple months, I was actually able to land a job. Now, I didn't pay the best, but it was my first job, and I was working with a very nice group of people. And I realized that it really is about who you know, because the way I was able to make money was by working for people at the beginning, even when I wasn't super experienced. However, game development was actually what led me in. They trusted because of my game development experience. But the main reason I completely quit game development is because it is a lot of work for a kind of return that isn't very satisfying. It's very nice when you see other people playing your game, but compared to website development, I can make a website and anyone can go to it right away. When you make a game, someone has to download on their desktop or phone or whatever and play it, and it's just simply not the same thing. It takes a lot more effort for other people to basically view your product. That's why I quit game development. I was extremely exhausted. It was not the most fun thing out there. But I'm really thankful that I did it. I think it was a really important part of my career choice, because after doing game development, I was very successful being a web developer. And every day that passes, I'm more successful as a web developer, and it's because of game development. Hope you enjoyed.